So far, there has been one Republican lawmaker who has openly spoke out against Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee, and that individual is Representative Justin Amash. He is not a member of the Senate. He is a congressman, so he will not be able to vote for Brett Kavanaugh and say that he is not supportive of Kavanaugh becoming the next Supreme Court justice. However, he is urging Republican lawmakers who care about privacy and privacy rights to vote against him. And it seems as though he is speaking out specifically to Rand Paul and possibly Mike Lee. So let me give you more details. He is a fourth-term Michigan lawmaker who founded the Congressional Liberty Caucus, immediately denounced Kavanaugh last week as a, quote, disappointing pick. And he's kept up his criticism of a nominee he views as too deferential to executive authority and hostile to the Fourth Amendment's protections against unreasonable searches and seizures. So he is taking issue with Kavanaugh's decisions on the NSA spying, which was a big story back in 2012. Edward Snowden was a whistleblower who let us know that the NSA was indiscriminately collecting metadata on us. Kavanaugh wrote an opinion on that, and he essentially said that no, what the NSA is doing is well within their rights, and it does not violate the Fourth Amendment. Representative Amash disagrees with this wholeheartedly. And so let's hear from Amash or read from Amash in his Twitter account. He says, privacy advocates must fight. There are many potential nominees with a conservative record on abortion, guns, and regulations. The only question is, will the Senate confirm one who is really bad on the Fourth Amendment when so much is at stake in upcoming digital privacy battles? And I think that he's right there.
Yeah, so Justin Amash is very, very conservative, and so I find a lot of his views to be preposterous, and I've said so on air on a number of occasions. That's fine as long as people are honest actors. Then that's what a democracy is supposed to be. You're supposed to have political fights and debates over issues, and in this case, credit where credit is due. And it's not just because I happen to agree with him on the privacy issue, but it's because he's actually sticking to principle. As a libertarian, you should care a lot about privacy rights, and you should not want the government to intrude into every facet of your life and be able to record everything you do online. So it appears he's the only principled libertarian in the whole Congress. So is Rand Paul gonna do as he's told? Of course he is. Mike Lee's already said how much he likes Kavanaugh. Mike Lee has no principles, and Rand Paul on a number of occasions has pretended to have principles, and sometimes when they don't need his vote, he'll vote the right way, meaning the libertarian way, not necessarily my way, right? Mm-hmm. And then when they do need his vote, for like Mike Pompeo, who he had criticized for weeks and weeks and weeks, Pompeo was moving from the CIA director job to Secretary of State, and then Trump said, no, we need your vote. Bow your head. I don't give a damn about your principles. Mm-hmm. Shut up and vote as we tell you. And Rand Paul said, yes, sir, thank you, sir. Absolutely, sir, I never meant it, sir. And he voted for Pompeo.
Yeah, well, the weeks of political theater will score you brownie points, but the eventual vote is not something that's gonna stand out as much as the weeks of political theater.
Yeah, and look, and it goes with guys that whether I like them or I don't like them, like Chuck Hagel. He's a very smart guy. He's a Republican senator from Nebraska, wound up being Secretary of Defense for Obama, and said a lot of great things. But you know what? And I would say it all the time back then. When he was in the Senate, he voted with Bush 95% of the time. So he would criticize Bush, he would make intelligent points about what Bush was doing wrong, and then he would bow his head and vote with Bush. So I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in your votes. So in this case now, Amash doesn't get a vote, but he is still sticking his neck out to actually act on principle. So great, definitely credit on that one.
Right, and also just keep in mind that right now, Republican lawmakers are hesitant or completely unwilling to criticize Trump or anything that he does. So the fact that Amash doesn't get a vote and he's still openly speaking out against Kavanaugh is important and admirable, in my opinion. Even if I disagree with him on political issues, it's a strong move by Amash.
And by the way, Ted Cruz had also criticized Kavanaugh before the pick, and said he was worried that he didn't hate Roe versus Wade enough, and that he didn't hate the Affordable Care Act enough, okay? But as soon as Kavanaugh was picked, you know, Ted Cruz, I mean, beta to the end.
I mean, Ted Cruz, like, we can't forget, this is, in my opinion, one of the worst Ted Cruz moments, one of the most embarrassing Ted Cruz. Trump went after your wife. And you went from, you know, defending your wife's honor to becoming Reek.
He is, I mean, it's Ted Reek Cruz. And so, of course, on this, as soon as Trump said, I said Kavanaugh, and Cruz was like, yes, sir, of course, sir, I'm so sorry, sir. Kavanaugh all the way, sir, I'm so excited. Okay,
amazing.
Make more calls, Ted, make more calls. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.